among this group kuna wale walikuwa wameenda robbery Imara Daima Mombasa. So one of ule alikuwa aende nao ndiye alibaki to shoot me. So when the message came that the 7 they were shot, it was in the news. Mombasa the 7. So that message just came when I was about kuitisha altar call. Ndio yakapigiwa ile jeshi. All of them have been shot. And by then I didn't know. Then he had tried to shoot me. Alikuwa ameweka gun kwa jacket amefunika hivi. So he's trying to shoot me kwa chest. Trigger ikajam. So by the time the message ilikuwa inakuja jamaa wameuliwa is when now it hit him. God, huyu ni God. Unaona, huyu jamaa nimetry kumshoot, it didn't work. I want to die. Nimejipata huruma, basi ile ishapita, it's midnight. So lazima nitembe kutoka John Saga mpaka Umo. That meant lazima nipite outer zile flats na ile kulikuwa na bridge nyingine.
Bado
hiyo bridge ilikuwa dangerous, watu walikuwa wanauliwaga hapo. And we used to know because ungesikia jana Salim adua hapo. So napita hiyo bridge kabla nivuke hiyo bridge naambia God, maze God, leo jo I speak na God in shame. Naambia maze God jo, leo maze God kinipitisha hapa sitawairudia, God ndakusavu. I mean that calling in me ile Sunday school, it was just in me, though suppressed the addiction. Naambia God, maze God ukinipitisha hapa ndakusavu forever, I'll serve you. Napita. Nikimaliza tu Caltex pale sikuwa na hiyo bar ile web, I think it went to web something. Anaambia God, sishapita. Naambia God, God hapo uta understand because ile nikipita ile tension najua chochote cheza kutokea. Bado niko fast on hizo suti kali wananibaia nini. So naingia the club again, same circle. Several times I did that. God is faithful, unajua. I knew he used to protect. That one I knew without doubt. Nilikuwa najua God was protecting. Because something funny, ningevuka hiyo bridge following day tukichukuliwa na basi ya job, tukienda sasa job kutoka Umo, unasikia watu wanasema jamaa jana alikatwa kichwa kwa ile bridge. So I used to like God. That meant nikipita hapo hawa se walikuwa.
But God protected.
That one I used to know. Nikisikia hiyo story, it used to hit me. Najua that is God. So in my mind there was no doubt. God yuko and God is real. So it happened many times. Nilikuwa na tempt God, so to speak. But God is faithful. Because I always know that he had a reason and a purpose.
Very true.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to ask, when did you start like the crime scene kabisa?
For me, I used to hang out with them, but I never used to work in Ambra when they're going for the missions, meaning Ejipa Shughuli. So literally I never got involved in crime myself. I never, though once in a while I would push drugs here and there. Yeah, just to get paid in drug form, no money. Yeah, because hiyo ndo unataka. Yeah, so for me, I never got one-on-one involved in crime, but I used to hang out with them because I wanted to. So after I moved to a job, this is when now I would hang out in those hoods, mali kuna our criminals. But I thank God because God alikuwa anani-prepare, because as we speak, I reach out to criminals. That's my ministry. I go to prisons. I reach out to prostitutes. And so I used to hang out with them. So now I know the mind of a drug addict. I know the mind of a criminal. I know the mind of a prostitute. It helps me a lot when I do ministry because I identify with them. I know how they think, what they think. So for me, I always thank God because I believe it was a preparation stage for me. And I always believe those preparation stages are very beneficial to ministers. And that's why sometimes I'm called to speak in churches. Una speak and then unapata, there's this pastor. Hajawahi vuta ndom, hajawahi vuta pegi. So kijana kikam, so he ameona pepo. You know, I mean, I believe there's no way utakam church na unavuta ndom. Maybe I just take this opportunity. I highlight one story that happened in Diani, Ukunda. Nilikuwa nimeenda kuspeak now. I'll jump in front, then I'll come back. I just want to highlight this as I speak to ministers out there. Because sometimes, not sometimes, I believe it's good for ministers, pastors, to have an idea. Even if haukuchoma, hukukunywa pombe. But I always believe tunaweza kuwa a drug of our choice. Maybe pride. That's also a drug of choice. But yako tu sani vile ni pride vile huyo anachoma ndom. So niko Ukunda, nimeenda ministry. We reached out to some heroin addicts hapo Geo Junction ya kwenda Ukunda. Diani Beach. Hapo there's a lot of drug activity hapo, heroin. So we reached out to some heroin addicts, moja ka get saved. So nikaambia huyu pastor, because hakuwa shawahi kuwa involved na drugs. Nikamwambia, a drug like heroin it needs careful approach because of the withdrawal symptoms.
It can also,
Because with like heroin, the withdrawal symptoms, the tremors, una feel fever, kaila malaria, you diarrhea, itching. So if you're not careful, huyu jamaa anaweza die. So nikaambia huyu pastor, this is an exceptional case, be very wise how to deal with this case.
With this guy,
Huyu pastor akangoja nirudi, akachukua huyu jamaa, wakajifungia kwa room 3 days, prayer and fasting. Hii pepo lazima itoke. The guy died in the room.
Oh my God.
So this pastor calls me, hey, huyu jamaa amedai. Kwa nini? Iko prayers. Anyway, it can work. I'm not saying prayers can't work. It can work, but sometimes tuna needing
wisdom from above. True.
Yeah, so let me come back now to that story, my story. So 2001 is my coming back to my senses story. Nikafikiria. By then, nilikuwa na stay na mother. And I remember there are times my mother angelala. Or angelala kwa kiti kungoja ni knock. Because alikuwa anajua naweza enda na nisiru. So many times at 4, 5, nikinoka amefungua alikuwa amelala kwa kiti, anaangalia vya. Up to now she's alive with my dad. And kijana yangu alikuwa anaita those days, mtoto yangu umerudi. Yeah, umerudi. Usiku si mzuri kutembea. Sometimes na tupa maneno mbaya mzito unajua. And I want to speak to mothers out there now, just to highlight one or two things. In the Bible, I love the Bible, as I've said. Mothers play a very important role. And there was time I was studying the story of the mother of Jesus. And 2 times in Luke, the book of Luke, the Bible says, but Mary treasured these things. Mary kept these things in her heart. Hata vile alikuwa na Joseph. Another verse says that others were amazed, but Mary kept these things. Treasured this thing in her heart. So mothers, I always tell people, mothers are incubators. Mothers should nurture. I'm not saying fathers should not, but I always believe God has put a woman as a very special vessel. That's why I've been with doctors. They tell me women, their brain is configured differently. Yeah, especially the thinking part. They have told me women speak double the words men speak in a day. And Mary used to a wedding ya Cana. Si wine inaisha. And then they go to Mary. Jesus was there. They didn't go to Jesus. They went to Mary. Wakaambia Mary, hey, wine imede, the wine is finished. Mary goes to Jesus and tells Jesus another story. You woman, don't you know my time has not come? Mary aongojangi hizo story. Anaambianga tu, anaacha, Jesus bado amejitetea. You know my time has not come. Anaenda anaambia watu, you do
whatever he says.
Na anaishia, anaachia Jesus. So, for me, I came to a revelation, and I think I'm right. Mary triggered Jesus to begin ministry prematurely. Because when this verse says, Jesus mwenyewe anasemanga, my time has not come. It was not time for him to begin ministry at the wedding of Cana. But Mary, being a woman and a mother, triggered Jesus to act. And so, mothers are very special in the Bible. And I tell women, after speaking the half words, hizo half zimebaki, prophesy to your kids. But like me, my wife, akiniulizanga leo ilikuwaje, unexpect, nilitoka nikapanda hii matri inaitwa hivi, tukaenda hivi kutoka simamishwa na makarao, leo ilikuwaje poa. Tell me that because nimespeak words zote zimeisha, yeye bado ana half zimebaki. By the time I get home, kuna half bado zimebaki. So I always tell women, and I go back to my mom. I remember those days now, imefanya nikumbuke hii story. Naenda home, my mother speaks, prophesies, ananiambia, this Jesus you speak, this Jesus you deny, you'll preach this Jesus around the world. Ningecheka na mbele, mimi nikiokoka nani atakuwa kuni kwa shetani. You know those bad man. Mama na scream, kakimagine mimi ndio kuni kwa shetani. Unajua, but she would prophesy. Even those days nakwambia, now unadanganya madhe. I'll be mixing up these things, both to address ministers and women. Naenda naambia madhen meitwa interview ni uongo. Ningetaka nipe so. Ndio niende nipige glasi ya jeti ambao ni buy ndom za 20. Ni buy fegi zangu kadhaa nipate mbao ya kwenda tao. So my mother always, there's no day my mother aliniambia, hey, kazi yako ni mabangi. My mother never mentioned about mimi kudu. She knew. There's a time ningevutia kwa hao na nipate. By the time na spray my air freshener, amenipata haina nuka ndom. So they knew. Naenda out, narudi mlevi, nini unajua. But she would always prophesy positive to me. Nangenipa hiyo so. I remember there's a time alinipa hiyo so. Akaniambia, najua unanidanganya. Ameshika so. Najua unanidanganya. Hii unajua hii so unaenda kufanyia zako vitu zako. But aliniambia, she made a statement akaniambia, but I'm your mother. Ndakupa hii so. Rather than nisikie ulienda kuiba, umepigwa mob, wacha nikupe hii so, but naomba. I remember that day nilienda nilikunywa nilitapika. Nikakumbuka madame alitia nukes hii so. Unajua? So I encourage mothers always. I know it's hard. I'm talking out of experience. The 17 years I was involved in this. My mother used to prophesy positive way. You'll be somebody important in this world. Nini. And so here I am, 201, my coming back to my senses moments. And but then that small bro alikuwa ameenda States, further studies. Naangalia my family. I'm the firstborn. In terms of school, mpaka sahi, I'm the least schooled. Hao wengine, I have a bro is finishing his PhD in the States. Mwingine ana masters, hao wengine wana college. Mimi ndio least schooled. Naangalia I've lost 2 relationships. Naangalia kazi yangu ni ku hang out kwa ghetto with these people. Nime lose purpose, nime lose focus. Nothing makes any importance in my life. Isn't the time son may try suicidal, being suicidal. Then kakan kafikiria. My wife, now my current wife, aliokoka a week.
Did you meet when you guys were not saved?
Yeah, we used to meet.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
So could I mean, first time nili meet. I wasn't born again. So that
even
was 90. See, after this relationship, ya kwanza ili backfire. After 2 years nikamituyu. No, hawakuwa saved because that's how we used to hang out night.
Wow.
Drink, nini. Fact hata then ikakuwa pia one of the reasons ya ku lose job was pia because sasa tunakaa naye kazi yetu ni maclub nini. So pia ikakuwa sawa because mine was daily. So ikakuwa pia for protection because me ile do nilikuwa nayo ningemaliza ile do niko nayo ndo nitoke club. Na nikienda ile club friendly ningemaliza do na ni sign bill nilipe mwisho wa mwezi. So mwisho wa mwezi nikipata salary najua hii ni hapa because I know I'll survive. Kuna gari, kuna food nikiwa sick, and then there's hizo benefits to this money huwezi kosa hapa na pale. Yeah.
What was your turnaround of getting saved?
Yeah, that's where I am now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I am now. So she gets born again. Akakam. I'm staying with my mother still. Akakuja akaniambia Now I'm born again. Because I used to go kuona mtoi. Hata ningemchukua naye club. Nimrudishe usiku. Najua ndo nimwache mimi niendelee na starehe zangu. So akakuja akaniambia, now I'm born again. Toi, it's your son. I think by then it was about 2-3 years. I can't remember. Unless nipige hesabu. So you are free to come. Kona mtoi. But story yetu imeisha. Yeah, you endelea ukiona hizo drugs ndio important. But me I'm born again. But akienda nikimsindikiza. Akaniambia, but the only way things can work out is lazima uchange. Ukichange, things will work out between us. Of course, it didn't make sense. Because by then ungeniambia niwache pombe, niwache weed, niwache hizo vitu. Ma club nini. Once in a while bado I do the DJing nini. So that night, I remember it was on a Sunday. Ametoka church. So akapitia. That night, after kumsindikiza, I remember nikaenda club. Ilikuwa majioni 6. Nikimsindikiza, nikaenda club. Did all hizo vitu. And nilikuwa nimekaa Friday. Nimeshinda out Saturday. So hiyo Sunday. Sijalala 3 days. So that time nimemsindikiza, nimeenda kufanya whatever, ndio nirudi nilale. So I remember that night, ndio nilikuwa na encounter na God.
Wow.
Because I want to sleep, usingizi ika. Nikafeel 2 times, nikafeel, not could feel, I had a voice, clear, talking to me. The only way for change, that time I was in English, the voice was speaking to me in English. The only way for change, the only way to change is salvation.
Wow.
Imagine, kukoka ndo kitu nilikuwa nimehate, unajua? Nikapuuza na labda ni hizi vitu zangu. I tried to sleep 3 times. It was towards 3 a.m. Sijalala. The only way to change is salvation. Then after that, I slept. So kuamka morning, niliamka, nimefeel tofauti. The way I woke up, wake up, I just felt different. I didn't know what it was. So nikakaa nikaanza kufikiria.
So you are telling me when you got saved, people gave you some time?
1 hour.
1 hour. Yeah, how was it?
Yeah, so the following day, it was on a Tuesday. Now I had the Bible. Pastor Church in Malimo had given me a Bible. And so I started reading the Bible immediately. And before, even when I used to do drugs, I used to like reading. I still do a lot of reading. And those days I used to read this big Robert Ludlum, Michelle Dawn, those big novels. In 2 days, 700 pages. I was comfortable 2-3 days. I would read the whole novel. So when I started reading the Bible, is now when I remember that Bible, I have it. It has a lot of questions. Why is this saying this? Why is this saying? So I would wait when pastor is back from school to go, and I ask a lot of questions. So I stayed the whole day in the house reading the Bible. I go back in the evening. We share what what I've picked. He helps me go back to the house. And these people just come. It's all out talking and they'll show me stuff through the window. Oh, they'll be like, hello, pure, you know. And the cravings would come, but I was like, God, no, God, no. And so on Wednesday, 2 days after, the craving now became too much. Too much. I started having the withdrawal symptom. And I thought, what can I do? Oh, kaambia God, maze God, hapa nimejikausha. 2 days jo God, maze, at least nimetry. 2 days. So hii, wacha ni... No, after I got born again, nilimaliza ile ilikuwa imebaki. So I didn't have anything in the house. And so the third day, on Wednesday, after lunch, do you crave ikanilemea. So nikaenda base. And I could hear guys, yes, you may come, tulijua. And in my heart is like, I God, pana. Unajua, just felt, unajua. And so nikaita moja. I came up with a lie. Kaambia kuna cousin yangu ametoka coast. Amekaa because I wanted to buy hashish. Amekaa kutoka coast na anadai hashish. So that isijulikane ni mimi. So this guy kaniletea. So kaniambia si tuende hata mimi nitoanishe moshi hata mimi I smoke. Kaambia because nilijotungia kazi na yuko. You know I'm lying. Kazi na yuko hii ni yangu. But sikutaka because ya the rumor and walikuwa nasema, in fact huyo mwenye nilienda kwake pedi ndiye alikuwa ananiambia na kujanga sema 1 hour 2 hours leo aishi kesho aishi. So sikutaka yes, unaona. So nikaambia pana ukazi nataki mezesha, nataki anybody to know. Wait unipe. So nikaenda, sikuenda kwa hao. At least I had the fear of the house for once. Nikaenda kwa place ingine, mashamba nyume ya Kasarani complex, the stadium, hizo mashamba that Kariva, the Kware hapo chini. And so nikaenda nikaambia God, hapa God you understand. 2 days at least I need some. Do umetry, unajua. So but I lit. Nikaiwasha. I remember nikapoint. Inawaka. Nikapoint towards heaven. Nikaambia God, if you are real, wacha iko ya last. Nikavuta puff ya kwanza. So unajua nimekawia
bila kuvuta
about 2 days. So naivuta na ile fujo. Puff ya pili. Nikasikia kichwa yangu imezunguka. Yani vile I've never felt evil before. Yani kichwa nikaa ilizunguka wow twice. Nikakuwa confused. Then nikasikia kutapika. Nilikuwa nimeambia God iko ya last. But God akaallow puff mbili. Nilitupa. I threw it. And then I felt I heard another voice saying, I'm real. Nikajua, that is God. So nikaitupa, nikarudi kwa hao. Within 2 months, 3 months, I'd gone through the Bible, Genesis to Revelation. And after I got born again, the first people I called were my parents. Kaambia, nimeokoka. Then nikapigia wife, kaambia mimi nimeokoka. So I remember after 1 month, to many ministries, they used to do outreaches. Na tracks, wanna show movie, tracks, they can preach in speakers. They used to be associates wa Diguna, this German wana preaching. I don't know if the ministry is still there. Diguna meaning, yeah, it's a German thing. So they took me for mission in Western. Kanda Lugari, Bungoma, Kakamega, Butere. I remember that time tulikuwa na kina emoji Kenti na boss walikuwa washakuja sasa ilikuwa taken in that ministry. So I remember tulikuwa nao preaching nini. So immediately I got born again Kanza ministry by default. Mainly but we come sema whatever you feel you need to share. So that's 2001 June. So we went August after 2 months. August tukaenda now. Following year 2002 wakanichukua tena. I think 2003 again. Kaendanga 1 month out there nimeanza ministry. Namba wendo uta preach Sunday. I've never preached. I've never done a sermon. I struggle. I don't know what to do. Somewhere I go, God ananisaidia. I do a sermon. Nikita altar call na watu wana get saved. Unajua ile inashinda. Kumbe I have something I can share. 2004 a pastor friend alikuwa anaenda Arusha, Mount Meru University. Kaniambia I'm going for ministry na feel tuende. Nikaenda, that's now my first ministry outside the country. Nikaenda huko speaking, okay, so I have something. I remember tukaenda YWAM. Youth in the mission, the director, the late Mkolwe, the alikuwa director, so he gave me an opportunity to share many people wa Korea, wazungu, now. Kajoke, so I have something. So kurudi, the same pastor kaniambia, hey, kuna youth conference in Kampala. Calvary Temple then, because it's called Christ Church Uganda. Kuna youth conference, I want you to go. Within 2 weeks nimetoka Arusha, the following week niko Kampala. You know that youth conference, they have a radio station, Family Radio Uganda, was doing a lot of talks on radio, and people would call, people would come to see me in the church. I did the youth conference 1 week. That's 204. 205 is now international doors in Europe. Zika open. Started going to Norway, to Belgium, to help drug addicts. Yeah, so no, before that, the first time now, nilikuwa naenda airport. Nimeenda visa ya mine ya Norway, nimekuja through for 3 months. When I'm in the garden and the airport, I was reminded, do you remember what your mother told you?
You'll be going to nations. Yeah.
So I called my mom. Nikiwa on the way to the airport. Kaambia mom, naenda Norway. Kaambia, si nilikwambia. So 1-2 minutes silence. Ile ajui ataniambia nini. Unajua ile is like finally it has come to pass. So to cut the story short, after that I've been there 5 times in Europe. I've stayed there helping drug addicts, na prisoners. Nimekam now to reach out to criminals, Madare, Kibera. Tumeenda prisons now, to reach out to prostitutes now. And now I thank God I've seen many.
Wow.
giving their life, those tough core criminals. Nakumbuka ile group ya Kamjesh tukienda Mathare area 4 tukoga na base yao Mama Africa. Yeah, those criminals. When we went, one wanted to shoot me. To Oscar, I remember him very well. He later got born again, but I hope he's still born again. But the trigger jammed. Ikajam.
Alikuwa anataka kukushoot kwa nini?
See, I'm there. Nimeenda na wazungu, tumetoka Norway, so we go. Usiku. My friend Pierre Svensson akawabaia mbuzi. Bash, you know? Ugali, masoda. And so, tulikuwa na Pierre Svensson, Knut, and Torune. Walikuwa former drug addicts and criminals. So tumekuja nao for ministry. And so Pierre alikuwa na chain ya gold. And his wallet, alikuwa kitoa wallet, alikuwa gana cash. Knut and the other, they have expensive mobile phones and cameras. So these guys walikuwa na chorea vile watapita. Na hizi vitu. And I had. So I called the pastor mwenye alikuwa na church. Hapo ambapo walikuwa wakimta. Kama hiyo Sunday, we went on a Sunday. Walikuwa hiyo service haikuwa. I mean the service, throughout the service walikuwa na choma ndomi na ingia church. So by then tulikuwa tumearrive in the country. In fact, I think tulikuwa tujamaliza. Mimi sikuwa nimemaliza. I arrived on a Saturday, the previous night. Ndio nimetoka tu Norway. Pastor akanipigia akaniambia, hey, we need your help here. Nikamwambia, but niko na wazungu fulani hapa hivi, inaweza kuwa tricky. So Pierre akaniuliza, what's it? Nikamwambia, there's a pastor ananipigia, kuna trainer. But we are going. Naambia, wewe ujue, naambia, we go. We have Christ, we go. We're going to preach. I'll buy for them a goat. I'll take care of everything. So ndo vile nilisikia hao wakipangia hawa, ndo nikaenda nikauliza huyo pastor. Nikamwambia, by the way, una barua? I mean, just inform the chief. My intention was at least tukuwe na security. Chief atume security for the sake of these guys. So vile huyo mkubwa alisikia nikiambia chief kama I inform chief, the pastor inform chief. My intention was for the security kuje wakwe hapo around. Ndio sasa mmoja akasikia akaambia wengine, ona huyu anaanza kutuletea utiaji, anakujua nini? Moja they talk, anajua si nani. So later kukakuwa na hiyo scheme ya kuniplania. And so the place we were, kuenda choo, lazima utoke nje. Uende kwa maploti, ama uende, you just ease yourself uko nje. So that's how the scheme ikakuwa hard for them to finish. So after some time, these guys were tired because walikuwa wamearrive the previous, hiyo jet lag, nini. So they were sleeping just on the ground, chini tu kwa, on the floor. That's not even a floor, on the ground. Dusty ground. And so these guys are planning how now this is the time to hit. And then I'm pressed. Nimevumilia, I want to ease myself. Short call. I can't go out because I know the plan. So I look, there was a guy, a body, bald head, body. Amekaa kwa bench just before the door. And so I told God, before I got to this place, because I got to that place, these whites walifika mbele yangu. Because I had to go home and change, not to look flashy, because I had those sneakers, you know, those expensive stuff from abroad. So nikaenda kuchange just to down dress so that at least I look slummish, you know. So when I was going from nilishukia pale drive-in, so I had to go Mali number 2930 used to turn, then now unaingia ndani hiyo base. And I remember pale, because it was going to 9:30, pale School of Monetary Studies, those the GSUs wale uchunga pale, they called me, wakaambia unaenda wapi sasa? Wakaambia naenda hivi base fulani. Yeah. That place is dangerous. We can't advise you to go. But my guys were already there. Siwezi wawacha. So I had to go. So I'm making this prayer within me. Naambia God, if hii ilikuwa plan yako to come, so I just pray you protect us. And give me wisdom how I'll navigate. Because I know my life is in danger. These guys they want to mark this. It was a group of about 30 something. It was a hideout, yeah. Yeah, it was a group. Yeah, criminals. So nikamwambia God, give me wisdom how to navigate. So nikaona huyo jamaa amekaa kwa bench. And he used to be a professional boxer. Pia alikuwa kwa gang pia. So he was sitting there alone in the car bouncer kucheki who is coming in, nini. So I felt niende nikae naye. So I went and sat with him kwa bench. So I started telling him about Jesus, you know. And then somehow akaniuliza, but ulikoga unaenda Marege? Nikamwambia, Marege nilikoga sana Marege. He look familiar. Ni wewe? Nikamwambia, but saizi nimeget born again. Life yangu imechange. So tukaanza story. Then nikamuuliza, would you want to get born again? Akaniambia, yeah. So I led him to Christ, hapo. Then he stands. Akaambia watu, sasa hakuna mtu anaguza hizo. You know, hapana kwa hizo, hakuna mtu anaguza hizo. So nikapata security, one of them. So yeye ndiye alinipeleka out, eased myself, I came back. So it was going to around 2:00 at night. So the pastor told me to speak to them. So started sharing with them about life, practical life, the prodigal son. I love that. That's the scripture I use a lot. And then, just before I called the altar call, message ikakam. Among this group, kuna wale walikuwa wameenda robbery, Imara Daima, Mombasa. So one of ule alikuwa aende nao, they alibaki to shoot me. So when the message came that the 7 they were shot, it was in the news, Mombasa, the 7. So that message just came when I was about kuitisha altar call. Ndio yakapigiwa ile jeshi, all of them have been shot. And by then, I didn't know. Then, he had tried to shoot me. Alikuwa ameweka gun kwa jacket, amefunika hivi. So he's trying to shoot me kwa chest. Trigger ikajam. So by the time the message ilikuwa inakuja, jamaa ameuliwa, is when now it hit him. God, huyu ni God. Unaona, huyu jamaa nimetry kumshoot, it didn't work. And then the people wenye ningeenda nao wameshutiwa. And that's the time I was just calling the altar. So it was among the first to come to get saved. And the leader of the group, and 20, I remember very well, 20 of them got born again that night. Then I remember I took we took many of them to Word of Faith, Kiambu, Bishop Mode. I remember even he took several to the Bible school. He sponsored them to the Bible school. They got born again. Now as we speak, we have pastors from that group. We have people who are still in Word of Faith, still working for the ministry. So my point is to pastors. And I've had pastors, I've gone for missions. You preach to a guy, he's very much drunk, but the pastor says, you can't lead him to Christ.
True.
May I always tell people, it's Christ who changes people. You just lead him to Christ, and then it's Christ who will take over.
Very true.
Yeah, so even if me, I got born again when I was stoned. Unajua ile stoned kabisa. These guys didn't believe. But now here I am 20 plus years later. I'm traveling around the world, sharing, and seeing criminals getting born again.
Now let me ask you, said about something about devil worshiping. What happened? Like
almost.
You almost got to devil worship.
So it reached a point of sacrifice. Me, I wanted to sacrifice my dad. Then.
Oh, when you're not saved?
Yes. I wasn't born again.
Okay.
At that time now when I'm here, no money to drink. I have a friend who is there already. He used to give me money to drink. Take me to his house. I see the big house in Karen. Like, you can also have this if and how you have to sacrifice, you know. So for me, the simplest and the easiest was my dad, because I remember hakunipeleka majuu. So na feel
you had the bitterness.
Yeah. And then I remember vile alikuwa KDF. But then they wanted my bro. But then alikuwa University of Nairobi. This one now went to the States. So he's doing his PhD. He's a professor now. A major in the US Army as we speak now. So then they wanted him. But me, I wanted to give out my dad. Because and I learned something from
that. You had conversation with them, or it's your friend telling you?
Yes.
You had already joined?
No. You have to read the point of sacrifice to be initiated in the brother. They call it
brotherhood. Yeah.
The turning point for you is when you sacrifice. Yeah, and literally, it's a long story, but we can't get much into that. Yeah, so 3 times it reached a time I've been showed all the glamour, all the houses, all the big cars. I've been given money to weekend to hang out several times. So the time now I'm saying enough is enough. If my bro is called Tom. If it's Tom you want, it's Tom you get. If it's Tom, the interest between the riches, the glamour I've seen, because I was short. I was short. And so I remember the first time I was to do it on a Friday. And it's not you who do this. That's a long story. I can't get into details. There's a way you just go there, do whatever they do, and then you present him there, and then it's them to do whatever they do.
Oh, you take your brother there now?
Not physically. There are things you do. It's a long story. You take him on the altar. He appears physically. Long story. And now they take over. Once they appears in the spirit, it's everything is spiritual there. And so I decide now Friday, I'm taking him. So on a Wednesday, he receives a call. Your visa for Denmark is ready. So he's going to Denmark. So he comes. I remember he used to call me, big bro, hey, visa Denmark is going, I'm going out. Going out to Denmark. What do you want me to bring for you? Like, oh, sneakers, jeans, Walkman, those days, the tapes, Walkman, camera. Like I said, I'm going for 2 months. So I'll bring for you. So the 2 months, your Friday, I don't go. I'm waiting for the 2 months he brings. Now focusing may change. I'm not focusing on the house, the cars.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on the camera and the sneakers. You see the way God, but it's God. Yeah. I know for sure, I know it is God who used to do that. Second time, same thing. Because I remember that time, nilikuja kwa hao, I've been out the whole weekend. I've not been sleeping. I've come, done all the drugs. Nimekuja, my mother asked me, hey, my son, where have you been? Nikamtukana vibaya, just a word I can't even mention on camera. And then Tom was on the sofa, he was reading. Kaniambia wezi tukana madhe, huyu ni madhe. You know? So me, I get angry with him, so I want to physically
beat him.
Yeah, then I'm reminded, so you see the reason you should bring him, you know. Yeah, I can feel it in my spirit. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, just look at him, you don't know. You know those ones. So same thing, second time, before Friday, he gets his visa to Germany. He's like, hey, big bro, I'm going to Germany. What do you want? Yeah, this whole list, want this and this and this. Like, okay, he goes, he brings for me stuff. Third time, same thing, visa to Germany. The fourth time, that's 2000. He gets a visa to the US. Up to now, he's in the US. And that's how he survived. Yeah, but I always know it's God. I always say that because even now, as we speak, he supports me a lot. He supports my ministry. Whenever I want to, I'm stuck somewhere. Hey, bro, money immediately. Oh, you're going for missions. Where? Ticket is here. Clothes. He brings stuff for me. He advises me. He's doing his PhD in sociology, I think, and he's a major in the army. Yeah, so he supports me, encourages me, tells me, oh, do this. So he's like my advisor. And I want to mention something. Now that you asked me that story, I didn't want to go to details. There's a lot I can't share on camera. I've had pastors. This can be controversial, but I'll share what I think is true, and I'll even quote Bible verses. I've heard pastors say the devil doesn't know somebody's destiny. The devil can't know your destiny. But from my experience, the devil knew Tom will get where he is now. That's why he was targeted when he was at the University of Nairobi. By then I was a student. I even didn't know. Up to now, when he comes, we walk with him, I look at him, he's like, wow, this. I didn't know this is where you could be 20 plus years down the line. And so the devil can detect somebody's destiny and he will fight it. And I'll go to the scripture. That's Tom, my brother. Moses was targeted when he was still a baby. That's why he was hid. That's my interpretation. Maybe I'm wrong, but from the way I read, that's why he was hidden.
Yeah.
And the other boys were killed.
But
the target wasn't the boys. It was Muslims. Jesus is born. The devil fights Jesus until Jesus. Sometimes I ask God, and God, ulihepa yani ulihepa Herod mpaka ukaenda Egypt. You know, but that's God's plan. You know, it's part of this bigger picture. Yeah, so even Jesus, the devil, I always believe the devil knew this guy, this baby. You know, by then they were babies. Yeah, like when Moses is hidden in the basket, was when Jesus was hidden. They went with Mary and Joseph to Egypt. He was a baby. When the Bible says, take this baby. And so the devil knew something that other people didn't know.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and through my life in addiction, I've met people, you find this guy, got A, straight, Strathmore University, doing engineering. Somebody is doing law, somebody is doing surgery, somebody is a pilot, somebody is doing law. You know, I've come to see that the bright people are the ones now who are being messed up.
Yeah, true.
And I was doing a podcast like this with Bishop James Murunga, and he asked me, why is it the kids of ministers are under attack? Like now, if you look around, the ones I've experienced and I'm working with them, I have a lot of bishops and pastors whose kids, if you are told the stories they do, you get like, wow, and they're ministers' kids, so they're under attack. I always believe there's a bigger destiny that is being fought. It's not the kids per se, it is what they carry. And the devil always, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I believe the devil always knows what you carry. And that's what
that is true, but that is very, very true. And also, he's so limited. The devil is so limited. He knows, but he's so limited. You see now, like your brother had the seal. You see, he was sealed and protected.
Yeah, that's true. But my point is, the protection is there. That's why they don't die like the others.
Yeah.
I've seen, and I watch TV a lot, the news. Many kids die, university students. This one is killing today, tomorrow. Like the other day, 2 days ago, I watched like 3 who had been killed.
Yeah.
1 raped, I don't know what, 3 at a go, same time. So the protection of God will always, like even me, He protected me. That time I used to tell Him, please, God, please. So they say, I agree with you to that extent that the protection will be there. That's why others will die, others will survive. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is the destiny will be fought.
True.
The destiny will be fought because the devil will know. This one, like I was listening to, even I knew your husband some time ago, was told this story, and at that time I remember I called him and we talked on phone, and he told me his story, and now it's like, it reminded me of my life. Now you can picture what he's doing now and what he did before, and you see the destiny that was being fought. It was this. What will come out of you? That's what I call the destiny. What will become of you? That's what I'm saying. That's what is always being fought. And that's why I always encourage. I encourage, especially believers. Prayers make a difference. Like me, I know many times I would have died. Many times. That one I know. I can count maybe 12 times I would have died. You get involved in crazy things that are endangering your life. Like I always think nowadays, I lost a lot of friends. My friends, 3/4, the ones I used to hang out with, like in Firestone, I can count The ones who are alive, 1, 2, maybe 3 out of 20, 30, all died. And even I remember those days we used to go for funerals, for burials. Sometimes I could look at this guy in the coffin and think, wow, this could be me.
True.
This could be me. And the thought unajua disappear immediately because after that nani amedai so tuende we have to console ourselves and then you go indulge and then you endanger yourselves more. And so what I'm trying to say, that prayer, it shields.
Yeah.
Like you've said, the seal, it gives the protection to this child. So always encourage people, don't. My mother did that for 17 years. The moment you will give up, the moment you're handing this kid over to the devil, because without the prayer, there's no the protection, the shield. It's only this shield. And sometimes I wonder, as I think when I reflect about my life, the many times I know this day will die. This day I would be dead because he died, she died, I survived.
True.
And I knew because many times when my mother would open the door, the first thing she would say, Asante Yesu. So for me, it's like she had been praying for me. Even that night on the couch, waiting for me. If I'll come or not come, but she'll continue praying for me. Because I remember there's a time, before I lost my job. There's one Easter weekend. My wife was pregnant then. And this Easter weekend, I'd gotten money to come and get a house in Buruburu, just near this place. And so I come on a Friday, on a Thursday. I was meeting the son of the owner of the house. He was a senior police officer then. And then the father was away, so I couldn't give him the money for deposit and those 3 months rent. I had a lot of money those days, like 30, 40,000 Kenya shilling. I'd gotten a loan from job. So I say, okay, I'll pay when he comes. That is on Tuesday. I started using that money just then. I didn't go home for 5 days. My wife is pregnant. Those days there are no mobile phone. So she went home. My mother was still there. So they were looking for me. Buruburu police station. Where Kasarani. Where up to mortuaries. Looking for me. They didn't find me. But I was just hanging around that river, Kitengela, Ruiru, just with friends with cars. And that time I remember we almost died, car accident. But always the thought came, God's protection was upon me. That one I knew. That's why I was sharing earlier that even those days I used to pass, I used to tell God because I knew God saves. So I encourage parents of those who are, and I know from experience, it's not easy having a drug addict. It's not better.
And what could you like to maybe encourage the parents who are out there whose children are addicted to drugs, to so many things right now? What could you like to tell the parents?
First, I really sympathize with the parents nowadays because during our time, the pornography that was there, they were magazines. We used to call them Playboys. They were very expensive, so it was only the rich kids who get them. During our time, for you to get cocaine, There are about 2, 3, 4 places. Nairobi, the whole of Nairobi, where we get them. It's not like now, few meters from this place,
there's someone selling.
There's cocaine. During our time, the prescription pills, some of the chemists were not like careless like today. Getting Valium and mad drugs, you really have to have influence and cough a lot of money. During our times, there were a lot of things were not at our fingertips. Nowadays, you get a smartphone, you can watch pornography, you can do gambling. During our time, there was only Kenya charity sweepstakes. Remember those days, gambling, betting. Nowadays, there's betting, there's pornography on phone, there's internet addiction, electronic addiction. So nowadays, it's very, very dangerous raising kids because you don't know. Anything can happen anytime. Nowadays, we also have wheat cakes, wheat cookies, even sweets. Now, less with those things, juice. And a kid is given innocently. You don't know. I was somewhere the other day, small kids in a children's home, they did drug test and they were positive. And there's like, me, I've never taken this, but did you go here? I went to see a guy, blah, blah, spiked me. And so this is maybe, so nowadays it's dangerous. But the most important thing is God. Put God in everything.
Amen.
Put God in everything because I know it's God who protects.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I have kids, and every time they come in the house, you're suspicious. You don't know, something would have happened. You don't know. Even small kids, nowadays, I'm dealing with cases even 3, 6 years, 7 years, kids abusing drugs in schools. They're there, or in another school. It's there even openly in the school playground. They smoke weed in Nairobi here. So my tip to the parents, I know we can be busy because we have to fend for the kids, but just always take time to pray for them, and above all, be curious of who they work with when they come to the house. Like me, look at the eyes, ukiona mpaka unamza, hey, your eyes are there. No, I've not slept. You get suspicious. I get suspicious of everything, every move in the house. Like, titi, maybe this is happening. So parents also should be more curious about their kids. If you just see a small signal your kid is withdrawn, that one should send a signal to you. If you see now he's sleeping too much, than usual stuff is happening. He's unkempt nowadays. He amejiachilia, no shower, no nothing. Those small, because those are symptoms of something. But above all, pray. And number 2, and this for me is very important. In as much as when it reaches the worst, you find out this kid is in drugs. Again, I repeat, I know it's not easy. There's that shock the parents go through, and this drug addicts can be very irritative even in the house. Start stealing, start doing what. But what God taught me from my mom, my mom loved me all through that period. Loved me, and I speak to women sometimes, they just tell me, hey, your mother had special grace. But I always believe, because when I was sharing about women have the motherly love. In as much as they go through stuff, but that love of a kid will remain. Because I remember there's this Kiswahili saying, uchungu wa mwana ijuae ni
mamake
uoga ni mzazi. That is the correct. saying. But for me, I always say, uchungu wa mwana ijuae mama. Because it's the mother will carry the pregnancy, the mother will push, the mother will the first 2-3 years until a kid grows. It's the mothers who knows the process of that. So mothers out there, and just to, as we wind up, I want to share something. I've handled cases where if one of the kids is confirmed to be a drug addict, the father will want to chase the kid away.
Yeah,
and sometimes I say that is always dangerous because this kid will find love in quotes in the base, and that's false sense of love, because there you'll get everything you want free. Just sit there and get everything, and he will be withdrawn from the home, and he'll be pushed more because he'll falsely think these guys love me
more than true.
Yeah. And I've seen mothers, I've handled several cases where parents have divorced because the father wants to chase the kid and tells the mother, if you want to stay with me, chase the kid, or you go with the kid. I've handled cases where the mother has decided to walk out of the house and leave the father. And I thank God in these cases, later the kid quit, the kid became an important person in society. Now the father wants the kid back. So love these people, show them love, the love of Christ. And that's why, as I finish, my role model is Jesus in the Bible. Look at Jesus. Jesus always used to hang out with the sinner. With this prostitute there, with the tax collector there, with these bad people. And that's why I want to encourage the pastors out there, because I do something called strategic evangelism. I train church leaders to understand, one, the mind of a drug addict. Sometimes we expect the drug addict to think the way we want, but we don't know what is pushing
them to do that.
Into doing that. So if you understand that this drug addict, one, it can be coping mechanism. It can be is numbing the pain, even from the home. Maybe the dysfunctional family have dealt with that. So you start accusing this kid, you don't know the pain is going through. So you end up losing this kid. So when you understand, and that's, I always like Jesus because he did. You hang out, okay, yeah, we found this lady in the act. That's what the Bible says. Jesus does these things on the ground, and then people disappear. Let's embrace them the way Jesus died, because it's Jesus who died for them. It's not us. So let's embrace these people. And I feel I should share this as I finish. I've seen when these guys, they get born again, they come to church, they have earrings, they have dreadlocks, they have tattoos. You know, she was a prostitute. We stigmatize them as if we have our heaven where we will take them. So this one has pushed the youth out of church. I always believe, this is my saying, let them come to church, let Jesus change
them. True. Yeah. That is also what I say. Yeah. Come as you are. And Jesus will do the rest.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Unless you have another question.
Wow. But thank you so much for sharing your stories. I believe there are people who are out there, they're addicted to drugs. You have seen what God can do. And I thank God for you, Pastor Aizo, for even coming and sharing your story, because there are so many people who will be encouraged out there. There are so many people who have given up. They think because I'm deeply hooked in heroin, in cocaine. Is it the same thing? Heroin and cocaine?
Different.
No, different, yeah. You are hooked in heroin, you're hooked in cocaine, with bang or anything you're going through, that God cannot deliver you. But you know what? God is powerful, and there's nothing which is possible with God. And never give up. If you have that, if you're breathing, just know that God has still plans for you. Please come to the Lord, and if He can do it for him, He will also do it for you. So never give up when you're there. And He said something very, very important, that in everything you're doing, just put God first. Just put God first in everything. And as women, mothers, let's continue to pray for our children, not to give up. That was so powerful. Thank you so much.
Let me share just one
no problem.
thought that's come to me. If you're there, you're out there, you're addicted. You are can't do away, and I know especially cocaine and heroin. That one is a different ball game, and I'll advise you because that's what happened to me. I used to want to get born again after I quit these things, but in my own strength, I couldn't. What I advise you, this is my personal advice. Just even if you are hooked or addicted, just get born again the way you are. Kuja na hizo mandom church. I wish I would build a very big church to accommodate every one of that. They come to cocaine. Okoka tu hata saizi after doing a shot. Okoka, and then come, Jesus will help you. It's kwanza Jesus, ukiokoka Jesus ndiye atatoa hiyo grade.
True.
Yes. I felt I should share
so
that.
Powerful. Yeah. Wow, awesome. Thank you so much for watching my journey of grace, and wow, please share to all the people who are going through addiction ya kila kitu. Just share with them. And thank you so much for even availing yourself. I know you're so busy, but thank you so much. We really appreciate. We don't take that for granted. Thank you.
Thank you for having me too.
Yeah.